Hey guys, Juti here, and it's time for another Tekken video. Today I want to talk about Tekken 8 because we recently got a whole bunch of new information pertaining to the new mechanics and also the accessibility options, mainly that new special style. And yet, always been on my mind, how do we bridge the gap between people who are just starting out Tekken and pro level of play? So in other words, accessibility of Tekken in general and what the pro levels do for crazy things up atop. And yeah, we could discuss about the new special style layout. I don't really like the idea that you can switch between this new control scheme and the traditional control scheme on the fly, but I'll reserve my judgment for that when the game comes out. But I generally like the idea of a more easier, approachable way to do combos for people who are just starting, and I also hope that that means that they're not getting the max combos out of everything. Now, what I want to talk about actually has nothing to do with this. It's always been on my mind in Tekken that through simple things we can actually alleviate a lot of grievances people have, and that's mainly in the knowledge checks. Now hold your horses, I'm not talking about that we are going to limit the move list or something, but I think just in terms of animations we can do a whole lot of things to make people understand things much quicker, what is going on in certain matchups, just by the animations alone. The moves function the same, it's just about the animations. You see, in my opinion actually, I think Tekken's button layout is very intuitive. You have a left punch, you have a right punch, and then you have a left kick and a right kick, and they're all binded to corresponding buttons. Yes, it sounds like more than other fighting games, but actually it feels very natural after you've just started playing Tekken, and before you know it, you can string up your own moves, not even by looking at the command list, but just thinking about what would be natural. And then you combine this with the movement system, so the directions, and then any person who just picks up the game can actually already start doing things, and that's without this new special style controller layout. The actual problem starts happening when people start taking the game more seriously. So they've passed casual level, they're comfortable with their character, and now they need to understand the game's mechanics more deeply and also mainly understand matchups. You see, Tekken has so many characters and so many moves for every character that for somebody just starting out, learning all of these matchups is very, very difficult. But to alleviate some of the grievances, Tekken could actually just make certain things more clear, because with animation this game can be very, very deceptive. People need to understand what they got hit with without having to resort to going into practice mode every single time to learn every single move for each character matchup. The move I always like to go back to is this one here from Lars, and the reason is that before season 4 of Tekken 7 this used to be a mid-high string. It doesn't really look like that, it's now a mid-mid string, but the animation hasn't changed and it feels more natural now. But before, this was safe on block because it was a high, and a lot of people thought they could punish it and they got punished instead. Certain animations could also just be tweaked on how they feel on block or on whiff. So for instance, certain moves look like they recover extremely fast on whiff, but in reality you still have a lot of time to punish them, whereas other moves look like they recover really slow on whiff, but they actually recover very, very fast. And then you have the other spectrum of that, which is how moves feel like on block. Certain moves actually are like launch punishable, but when you block them, to you they feel like they're safe. And I feel that certain animations could be tweaked in that regard so that you get more of a visual cue. Because the truth is that some of these moves outside of higher level of play are just abused in neutral. Yeah, and then the last thing I'd like to talk about is actually how certain animations just flow. Like over time in Tekken we've just got new characters and also new animations for older characters for new moves, but some of these don't flow well. So you have of course moves which are delayable, and that is intentional and people can get used to that, but then you have moves which are not delayable but they feel delayable, and this is mainly the case with a lot of newer moves or newer characters, and I just feel like A lot of people get hit by the last hit, which mostly is a launcher, just because the animation of that whole string looks like it's actually over, but in reality it's not over, and it's not even delayable. It's just something I feel that could be tweaked. Just the flow of the move, the momentum still has to look like it's carrying over into the next part of the string. So that about does it. I just wanted to do this short. Of course we could talk about the animations for throws, but that is a whole separate topic in itself. I feel that the points which I've mentioned do not affect pro level or higher level of play in Tekken, but I feel that they go a long way to help people who want to learn the game properly not always have to go overboard and have to lab every single thing, because they get visual cues and feedback. And this also makes it so that certain things are punished more, so that people don't continuously do certain things and receive bad habits as a cause of getting away with certain things. Yeah, this was more or less it. Thank you for watching this till to the end. Of course, I'll make a separate video where I talk about fixing DLC and lab characters for Tekken 8, where I'll go in with more examples, but this is like a problem, in my opinion, which pertains to Tekken in general. So consider subscribing. This is your boy Juti, and I'll see you on the next one.